What do we lose when we clean up our history to make it look pretty? This is a document of a small town in the southwest of Korea. I've lived in this town for 4 years now. Sometimes I feel frustrated by its smallness, but I have a love for this place. Today it's just a minor rural center, but 500 years ago it was a thriving market town and river trade hub surrounded by a defensive wall with 4 axial gates through which soldiers, grain dealers, county officials, and river crews all passed.
This vacant lot I'm standing on might not look that impressive, but beneath my feet are the remains of the old town wall. There's a huge amount of history in this town. It's been used since 1237. And yeah, they preserved it underground. They left it buried.
There's a lot of history here. It's the kind of place where you need to do an archaeological survey before you can put up a new building. The wall has been restored in places, quickly, with machined stones that don't even match. But most of the wall is gone. It's buried beneath roads, buildings, and random hillocks in the landscape. Sections have been bulldozed to make way for apartment buildings or the infrastructure of contemporary life. But you can still feel the shape of it in the topography and the curve of the streets. The wall exists today as a hidden perimeter that still underlies and encloses the town. I became fascinated by this wall. I tried to infer where it ran from the existing remnants, following the lines of the wall past their contemporary ends and seeing its traces in the shape of the landscape. I got a bit obsessed and did some research. I found this map showing the archaeologically established sections against the modern streets. Eventually, I found this photo from 2015 showing an authentic section of the original wall. I wondered why I'd never seen it. I could recognize the apartment towers in the background, which are just 5 minutes from my home. So I decided to go look for this last existing section, the original wall. I tried to triangulate from the apartments visible in the background, and eventually found the place. The apartment towers lined up perfectly, and truly I was standing on the site of the ancient wall. But it's gone now. In 2015 it was flattened and turned into this park, with only the foundation stones left exposed.
There's a difference in the way Korea goes about preserving its old history, I think, from how we do it in the West. In Korea, they don't like anything that looks old and run down and broken. They want to fix it up and make it new, like this old gate here. And you can clearly see the difference between the original stone and the new machine stone they've put on to rebuild it. When you can still remember a period of poverty as recently as Korea can. In that situation, I think you don't like the idea of old decay. You want to fix everything up and make it look new and fresh. It's just a different approach. I don't think one way or the other is correct. And even though it sometimes bothers me a bit to see the fresh machine stone right up against the original stones, that's how they do it. And in its own way, it looks pretty cool. This is an amazing place. I really do feel so fortunate that I can just come here and film stuff.
There is always an urge to edit what you expose to the public, to put a gloss and polish on the mess that underlies everything. I do it too. But I think things are more authentic and just more interesting when you don't tidy them.
소나무가 비싼 거야, 비싸.
샀어요?
선물 받았어.
예. 비싸요?
비싸.
얼마예요?
얼마야?
예.
History exists beneath the surface and its perturbations remain visible. Remove a branch from a tree and the scar may eventually heal and become invisible, but the turn of the branch remains. The history still exists in the inexplicable kink in an alley, the mounds and depressions in the soil from what is buried and what has subsided, and even paradoxically informs what we are comfortable exposing. When you try to hide that, the result feels false. Better to embrace it. Let the scars show and let the history speak for itself, even if it's not perfect, even if it feels uncomfortable. The history is what makes it interesting.